Well, another Christmas came and went, and along with it, a special Doctor Who episode. Except it's not Doctor Who, of course, for a variety of reasons, but most notably because this is the Doctor's clone, or maybe you could say child. Yeah. That's not me making it up. That's what RTD did in the narrative of his new Doctor Who. And I guess he was serious. It is a new Doctor Who, because the original Doctor, again, is sitting on Donna's couch watching TV, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so right off the bat, I'll just say this was probably the best episode of this iteration. Yeah, no. Hard to believe, huh? Yeah, even better than the what was it, 73 yards that teased this was some really incredible, surreal episode. But it only posed as one. It doesn't really deliver anything. And it's just little cutesy teases and winks about it. What does it mean? How did it happen? It doesn't tell you. Yeah. That kind of stuff where you pretend like you're more clever than you really are, that went out with Lost, you know? No, that's not going to cut it. But anyway, this one was Stephen Moffat, and it's better than the Landmine one, which had the elements of something that could have been really cool, but, well, it wasn't. So anyway, here you have the Doctor, who, now there's plenty of stupid, and it can't help but insult itself and ruin it. You know, so there's plenty of stuff like that in there. But he arrives at this mysterious hotel that has its rooms deliver you to different eras of time. So it's the Time Hotel, yeah. Now, this is the sort of thing that Time Lords would have been very upset about and all that. But that's all out the window, so I guess it doesn't really matter. The Doctor just sort of says, "Oh, look at this. Well, You know, I mean, he probably would have shut it down. Because you can just imagine all the kinds of troubles that could happen where people just come and go and just say, well, I'll stay in this room and I'll be in the Roman Empire. I'm going to World War II and all. But just, I'm just going to go and look at it. I'm not going to do anything. But, there's been other entities of the sort. And also it says that, every hotel room has a door that's locked and you don't know what's in it. But that's the time door. Yeah. Well, not all of them have a door like that. But anyway, they do for the purposes of this. And so there's interesting elements about it, and it's a case for the Doctor to deal with. He's finally going to get to do something. Because keep in mind, he really did nothing throughout his season. I mean, things just sort of happened for him, and unfortunately this happens too, but boy, he really works at it though, and at least he actually wears his Doctor Who outfit. Yeah, that's almost a first. Maybe it's only reserved for the Christmas specials, which the first one I still haven't seen for some reason, just haven't bothered. Anyway, there's no singing in this one, so maybe that's even more of a plus. But they jump around through time, where there's the setup of, the Doctor keeps popping up in different eras of time, offering, what was it? Some sort of coffee and I don't know. Anyway, that's all set up because he's exploring these different rooms, and there's some mysterious man who shows up with a briefcase and all that, and so he's intrigued by that. Well, terrible things begin happening, and it turns out it's not the man, it's the briefcase, because whoever gets a hold of the briefcase, the handcuff latches itself onto you and takes over your mind in pursuit of its objective. So it's an evil briefcase, so that's kind of interesting. But ultimately, just to go ahead and spoil everything, it has a star seed in it. It's destined to become a star, but it needs to place it on different points of time, so it needs about millions of years. And at first the doctor is like, oh, you don't have enough time. Human history isn't long enough for this. Well, of course, if you saw the trailer, that's the scene where the dinosaur shows up. It puts itself that far back. And then you just go down the hall to another room, and there you go. You come to it 65 million years later. And there's the star. Now, each person who gets attached to the briefcase, once it finds another host, the previous one dies. They disintegrate. And the doctor tries to save them. And there's a Silurian. He's the hotel manager, and the doctor can't save him either. But I don't know how, but he immediately latches on that strong emotions would be the way to make them hold on and fight off the disintegration. But it doesn't work. Later on, he realizes, I got to make him angry. So the woman Joy, who I thought would be his main, at least for one episode, companion, well, she isn't. There's actually I guess you could argue there's three. So there's this guy who works at the hotel that he recruits immediately. No, not that way. Although there's some flirtation and whatnot. But no, he recruits him to help out, and the guy ends up being disintegrated. Unbeknownst to the doctor, because he was doing something else. Hey, look, things happen. Then there's Joy, the woman who's a sad woman and is lonely, and we find out her sad story. And ultimately, the sad story is what saves her initially, as the doctor deliberately makes her angry, and that overcomes the mental hold that the briefcase has. But anyway, he opens the briefcase. She ends up being attached to it after the Silurian dies. And it's gonna kill her already, because he's triggered a time sequence on it. And he manages to shut it before it goes off, but it's still requiring a code. He doesn't know the code, and he's like, oh no, what's the code? Oh, I got to figure it out. And then all of a sudden the door opens up, and it's the doctor. It's another doctor. It's, him from the future. And he tells him what the code is. He's all right. So he punches it in. Okay, she's safe now. And then he says, well, I got to go with her. You got to go and figure out how to get the code. And it's going to take a while, the long way around. And he's like, oh, man. So he leaves, shuts the door, and now is a brick wall where the door used to be, or where the opening was. And the doctor is stuck in 2024 in this hotel. So he's got to spend a year there. He can't get to the TARDIS. All this stuff. And he's got to figure out the code. And so basically he rents the room and I guess takes a job at the hotel and strikes up a relationship with the woman who's the manager of this hotel. And basically dates her. I mean, and he goes out of his way to have a relationship with her. And this woman is clearly falling in love with him. And it's really devastating. He reaches the end of the year, and now he's got to go save Joy and get back to this case that he's working on with the starseed and all that. And he just tells her, well, I just wanted to see what it was like to live a normal life. And you know what? It was amazing. And you want to know why it was amazing? You're the reason. And she is just melting, She's just like, this is the greatest year of her life. She's been so lonely. And here comes this man, and she's in love with him. It's, and he went out of his way to charm her and spend time with her and all this stuff. And it's just like, well, I gotta go. I mean, at the very least, he could have just said, look, I'm gay, so, he doesn't do that. And I was like, oh, is this where they're going with the idea that he's, bi or pansexual, whatever the hell, and that sort of thing? But no, he just leaves her. He gives her a little toy TARDIS for Christmas, not a real TARDIS, I mean, a little police box thing, and then he splits. It's really cruel. How do you not see this? And I was just playing with you. So, so he goes back, and it's choreographing this, and thus you'd come up with some reason why he couldn't, and why he couldn't, be there. Which of course he can. He's the doctor. He could, once he's saved the other girl and the universe and all that, he could go back and be with this woman, Anita. And why can't she be the companion? Or if there was something where she's destined to die and there's nothing he can do about it and it's devastating for him, and you could have done it like that. Instead, it's just, he just toys with her, really. And he's just like, oh, but you're amazing, you're incredible, and you're really special, and all that sort of stuff. Hey, what? So he saves Joy, and then she's upset because her mother died on Christmas during the lockdowns, and she couldn't be with her when it happened. And so she's been guilt-ridden ever since. So ultimately, the briefcase is a plot of a cosmic weapons manufacturing company. And they wanted this fuel source of this star. So they go through all this trouble. But apparently the star has now achieved some sort of sentience with all the different hosts that were carrying the briefcase, which you would think would be a part of the computer AI of the briefcase rather than the star, but whatever. And so Joy decides she wants to be one with the star. So that's what she does. And the doctor's like, look, you're going to explode. You're not going to, no, we're all going to be together at the star. And for whatever reason, he just believes her. And he starts crying, of course, and being happy for her. And she flies off into space and explodes. And guess what? Can you guess where they were? That's right. They're in Bethlehem. So the Joy was the star of Bethlehem. So there you go. Merry Christmas and all that. Okay. But she's dead. But of course, this is where they just forget about being a science fiction show and just embrace that it's all magic. So her mother disintegrates like the people attached to the briefcase did, and it merges with the star that's being seen all throughout time, which didn't happen. But that's Joy, and so that's how that works. Oh, and Anita, poor Anita, who had her heart broken, manipulated, and used by the doctor. Well, he sends her a little note and has the Time Hotel recruit her for a job at the Time Hotel so that she can have her same job, but just with a cool time-traveling hotel. Yeah, that'll make up for, not being with the love of her life, who was, I guess, just toying with her. Yeah. It's really terrible. Think about it. But the structure and whatnot, the possibilities were all there. And, he does work to solve this problem. And even with him figuring it out, well, he had a year. He's working on the equations and everything. Oh, and the code, well, that's where they really screwed up. You just make it up and it'll work or something. It's a bad episode, but it's the best because the other ones are so much worse. Yeah. So there you go. Just incredibly cruel to poor Anita. And it's just, he's unaware of this, apparently. And he's a menace. Well, again, like I said, it doesn't matter because he's not the real doctor. The real doctor is sitting on Donna's couch watching TV. Probably not Doctor Who. So few people are. Yeah. Well, you don't have to because I did it for you.